Hey, welcome back to the Rock Fantasy YouTube channel and the Rock Fantasy Files. We took a week off last week and we're back. We're going to try to keep doing something weekly now. And this week we're here to talk about 2025 still. Last time we were on, we talked about our favorite releases from the year 2025. This year, on this episode, rather, we're going to talk about concerts. I did a ton of them. I've got a sheet here. Of course, if I talked about it, I almost did my own episode. Maybe I still will. But I went to about 44 concerts between national acts, some national tribute acts, and just stuff. And, I went to a few different states and I had a pretty good year. So, joining us tonight, we got Tony Dio from North Carolina. We got the Rab in the school from Adirondack Mountains, parts unknown, right? Well, kind of the Adirondack Mountains. He's up in the Northland. We got Ed Farsley from Armageddon Productions. We got James Delisle from Disc and Dat Records and Crucial Pain, of course. And you all know James well. So I guess we'll just go around and talk about the concerts. I don't think we're going to do a top 5 or a top 10. I don't know. Just wing it as we want to do it. We got the Ravenous here tonight. Maybe we'll start off with him. Ravenous, how many concerts did you attend last year?
Well, okay, before I answer that, let me just say that if this were, say, 5 years ago or so when I was living in New York City,
Mm,
I probably would have a number similar to what you did,
like, yeah,
meaning
yeah.
dozens and
I know.
dozens
I
of
would see you
shows.
at all the shows. We'd have a drink.
Because every month I had 2 or 3 shows on my calendar every month, at
Yeah.
least. So, but now that I'm up in the north, far from anything, the shows are seldom. But last year I still managed to. I went to 8 shows and they all counted, meaning they were all really, really, really good. And some of them were just really special for me because I was seeing some of my bands in my top 10 I saw in concert last year. So that was really incredible. But all 8 shows were absolutely awesome. I'll start off, I'll go through them quickly. The February 27th, it was the start of the
Oh, yeah.
Folk Fest of the North tour. It began in Boston. It's Corporate Clowny and Ensiferum. I love folk metal, which I know you know,
Yep.
and those two bands, I love them to death. So I was really thrilled that they were able to do a combined tour and start off basically in Boston, which was a little far away, but I went out there, sold out show, and it was a outstanding show. Basically, it was a dynamic atmosphere, and it was great. Oh, and I did the meet and greet as well with both bands.
Yeah.
So I got to hang out with them before the show, have some drinks, and just talk basically. So that was a wonderful experience. Got lots of photos, and so that was
And
the
that
highlight of my
had,
year,
and Troll
basically.
Fest was on that bill too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Troll Fest as well. And then the opener was this Asian folk metal band called Nini, Nini. They were pretty interesting.
Yes.
They offered a completely different style of folk metal, so that was a nice twist. But they were good.
You
So
actually
then,
saw
okay,
the first night of that tour, and I saw the last night of that tour, and I was a
yes,
little jealous because they had sold out of most any of the T-shirts that I would have wanted. But
yeah,
when I look back on that gig, I think of it as probably the most fun of any concert I went to last year. It was like a fucking drinking party and everyone was singing along and
mhm.
everybody was smiling. And I mean, there was people dressed as Vikings and there was uh, bands dressed as flamingos. It was definitely an experience. And I had, whenever I was depressed over the summer or whatever, I would think back, man, that was a good time.
Yeah. And there were people folk dancing too. There was a little bit of
Oh
that as
yeah, there
well.
was all kinds of
So
dancing. There
yeah,
was toga
so
lines. I mean, it's
Sounds
I
like a
have
fun
friends that
time.
go on the 70,000 tons every year, and they talk about how Troll Fest is there and how, like, if you enjoyed this, you would enjoy 3 full days of activity like this on that ship. And I've never done it, so the
the
70,000 tons of metal on maybe one day, but not this year again.
so a couple of days after that show, the actually it was I went to Albany, New York, just only 2 hours away from where I am. to see Septic Flesh do a headliner. It was like they were near the end of their U.S. tour. The
Yeah.
openers were Storm Ruler and Vlitimas. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Miltimus, yes.
Litmus,
David
yes.
Vincent. Yeah.
So they were great. The Septic Flesh I've seen so many times. I love them. The so that was an awesome show. The,
I was there with you for that one. I
yeah,
drove up
yeah.
and my some of my local friends sick bay actually were the local support on that. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was great. Storm Ruler were a pleasant surprise. I thought they were great.
Yeah, overall, it was a great show. A nice venue too in Albany.
It is.
The
Vampire.
so okay, so then after that, my next show was not until February 13th. Enslaved. They came to the States. They did only three shows, so they had just they did a show in I think Toronto or Montreal, one in New York City, and there was another one somewhere else. I can't recall where. It might have
Yeah,
been
I
somewhere
was at the
mixed.
one in New York City. You were there
Yeah,
also, right?
indeed.
Me and you were like linked in this whole thing.
Yeah. So, and I love Enslaved, so
And that was
I was not
actually
going to miss
May
that.
13th.
Yes, May 13th.
Yes.
The
Yep.
so I was not going to miss that.
Oh, they were killer that night.
Yeah.
I thought that may be one of the best performances of any band I saw live this year. They were just on fire that night. I don't know. And I did the meet and greet, and the meet and greet was actually after because they had trouble getting in through the border or something. So
Mhm.
I got to hang out with them guys. Yeah, they're just I don't know. Enslaved's one of my favorite bands, and they were just killing it that night.
Did you get to talk to them? Did you ask them, say why they did only like I was wondering why they did only like three shows
They
and not
came
15.
over to do Milwaukee Metal Fest,
Yes. Okay.
and I think they just wrapped a couple shows around it, and they weren't quite sure or when or if they were ever coming back. They told me,
Hmm.
and it was kind of depressing. But
Yeah,
they
because
and
it's
how
getting
much it
harder
costs the tour and everything
into
else.
the
But
States.
yet we still see other European bands
Yeah.
coming over. So I don't know, you know.
So, but okay, so then after Enslaved, I didn't have another show until September 13th. This was in Syracuse, one of the few in Syracuse, the Acid Bath.
Okay.
They came, but I didn't go for Acid Bath though. I was there for the opening bands, High on Fire and Windham. The Love those two bands. They were absolutely heavy. You know, Windham was just incredible, and High on Fire just is they're fantastic as always. The It was just this outdoor venue called Sharky's, and Acid Bath they were good too. But I'm a huge High on Fire and Windham fan, so that
Okay.
was really special. I got my photo taken with the vocalist of Windham, so she was really nice. So okay, so after that, my fall was quite busy. Was busy. I had the following week, or at the end of the month, September 28th, I was back in Albany to see Black Braid. The Black Braid began or they did their very first headlining tour, and it was an excellent tour because the openers were a band called Dodsrit. It's Dodsrit. It's a black metal band from, now I forgot where they're from. I think maybe Switzerland, somewhere in
Okay.
Eastern Europe, I believe. And then Lamp of Murmur. Lamp of Murmur was one of my I mentioned them last time we met during our top albums. That's a black metal band from California. I discovered them at this show. First song, and I was blown away by this group. They were vicious, they were outstanding, and then Black Braid was awesome as well. So that was great. It's always an awesome experience whenever you get to you see a new band and you hear one song and you're hooked. And that doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that happened with Lamp of Murmur. And then after that, so to let's see, I have October 25th, Vader. They came to Syracuse. And this is a pretty killer tour. This is Vader, Cataclysm,
Yeah.
Malevolent, Creation, and Skeletal Remains. That was a great show. All four bands were killer. I don't listen to much Cataclysm, but they were really good, and they brought some tremendous energy, and the place was just a madhouse. Okay, and then two more shows I had in November 24th, Fallujah. They did they were in the middle of a tour opening for another band, but during an off night they did a headliner in Syracuse, and they had a couple of I think local bands. just to open up.
Yeah.
Fallujah, they're great. They were awesome. And then 2 nights later, it was the Crisian show. The and I think that was near the end of the tour. And you went to that show, Steve, right?
I went to the Crisian show at Dingbatch. Yes.
Yes. Okay. That was maybe I think that was the night after my show. But Crisium was outstanding.
Oh yeah, they always
The
are. It's amazing how the three brothers killing it. And
yeah, so
Abysmal Dawn and was it Pyrexia was with them?
yeah, that was it.
And Gorgotron,
Yes. Yes.
Gorgotron, I think.
So,
Yeah,
but
it
anyway,
was a good show.
yeah. And that's it. That was it for me. So a couple of shows in Syracuse to end the year, and it was a strong ending to what was a really good year. Not as many shows as say anywhere near your number,
That's
but
because you're not because of where you live. I mean,
yeah, it's hard.
I'm lucky because I'm still, I don't know if I'm lucky because I live near New York City. I'm lucky because of shows, because I get to choose from shows that come into Brooklyn, shows that come into Jersey. I can even hit over to Albany. I'm kind of centrally located. Like if we go through my list, I mean, sometimes I can go to, like, say, if I really into a band, I can go to Philly too, and that's 3 hours, or Reading 3 hours, which is a shitty drive home where you got to stay overnight. But yeah, or Connecticut is an option for me too. So it's nice that you can get that option because sometimes, especially this spring, how shows are coming at us, and that sooner or later you're gonna say, "Oh, I got tickets for Creator. Oh, another great band playing the same fucking night. Now, how am I gonna, So, well, maybe I can go catch that other band somewhere else." So that's the good thing about living near the city, or yeah, because sometimes you can't get to anything. So, yeah. So I don't know who wants to go next, James.
Sure, I'll go next.
How many did you hit last year?
I hit 4 shows as a fan, like as a
Yeah,
spectator,
yeah. Of course, you play it out with your band a
and
bunch.
then I played probably 7 or 8 shows throughout the year.
Nice.
And so I'm basically going to talk about every show I went to as a fan and give my favorite shows that I played
Yeah.
last year. So on May 3rd, I went to Greenwood Features in Bethel, Connecticut, which is a movie theater, but they also have music there. And they had their very first heavy metal night at Greenwood Features on this night, May 3rd. They had Sacred Oath, who are buddies of mine, and they're actually a local power metal band from right here in Bethel. And this was the first time that they had played Bethel in 40 years. They had played since they were, kids in high school, still playing down the street at the Masonic Temple. So it was really cool to see them. It was like a historical night for those guys. Sold out room.
Nice.
And man, they sounded fucking incredible, man. They put on a great show, played, songs from all their releases, and it was just a great night, man. You can check out their newest album, Return of the Dragon. If you go to
Yeah,
sacredoath.net.
I just want to say, I want to add, great Sacred Oath are a fucking great band. I've had them booked
Absolutely.
several times in Brooklyn. I'm good friends with them. I love the guys to death, and they always bring it live. Fantastic band. I'm glad that show was a sold out one. I wanted to go up to that one too.
Yeah, it was a killer night, man, and they were just on fire. And so yeah, you could buy CDs and vinyl from them if you go to sacredoath.net. Last time we met, we only got to do like our top 10, but Sacred Oath put out their original demos through Stormspell Records, came out last year.
Wow, I didn't know
Uh,
that.
this is called the Demo Anthology 85 to 86, and it gives you 8 tracks that are taken off old demo tapes from 85 and 86. There's some tape limitation in a couple of the tracks, but it sounds really great, man. So go to Stormspell Records and grab yourself a copy of this. Really killer historical release. It's cool to hear them in their infancy. They were very, very merciful Thady at this
Yeah,
time.
they
They
were.
hadn't quite found the power thrash thing yet. They were very merciful Thady at this point. So that was a killer show with a killer band. Also, I went to the Oakdale in Wallingford in November. Me and Steven were both at this show
Yep.
together. And we saw Dark Chapel Bonfire, which is really great Bon Scott era AC/DC tribute band, and Zach Sabbath headlined. It was my first
Mhm.
time ever seeing Zach Sabbath, and boy, what a great set list, man! They
Yeah.
came
Killer.
right away with 4 songs off Volume 4 right in a row, and gave you some deep cuts with Behind the Wall of Sleep and After
Mm.
Forever and Into the Void, and it was just really a great night, man. Zach stopped everything a couple times during the set and had everybody chanting Ozzy's name, and it was
Oh, yeah.
really heartfelt moments, and it took kind of a little bit of the sting off of the edge of losing Ozzy just a couple months prior. It was a great
If
tribute.
anybody should have the rights to keep his music alive, it's Zach. And
I agree.
Yeah.
and
I
I
agree.
say that I at my first time seeing Zach in years, even with Black Label or anything, going to that show and just having the aura of like Black Sabbath, it was just great. And he absolutely killed it. I thought they sounded amazing. I like Zach's vocals doing the Ozzy stuff, and yeah, so
Me too.
I'm right there with you on that one.
Yeah, Zach, I mean, he always, even with the BLS stuff, sounded like Ozzy to me.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got that tinge to his voice
You
where
got the
it's
new
kind of like
BLS
Ozzy
coming
meets
out
Lane
too.
Staley.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a killer show. The only complaint I had about that show was the sound for Dark Chapel really kind of sucked.
I walked in on them, so I didn't really catch it too much. Yeah,
Yeah, I
saw a
don't know
song
what
or
was up with
two,
that.
and I thought they were decent, but yeah,
They're a really great band. If you listen to their record, it's awesome, but they got screwed with bad sound that night for
yeah.
whatever reason. Finally at the end of it, the last song, everything started to sound okay, and then they had to get off stage. But anywho, August 18th, I went to the Space Ballroom in Hamden, Connecticut, and saw Crowbar and I Hate God. And that was a really killer show. That was 2 days after my birthday. That was basically my birthday present to
Yeah.
myself. Going to check that out. Hadn't seen Crowbar in years. It probably was close to 20 years the last time I saw Crowbar. And I never got to see I Hate God live. And I'm not a huge fan of them, but they were great live. That was a really cool night. Despite the fact of Kirk Winstein having to sing and play guitar sitting down. He was having sciatica issues through
Yeah.
that tour. And he's a champion, man. He went through that whole tour sitting, playing, and singing. And he wound up coming off that tour, going to the doctor, and found out he had a cyst on his spine. And
Wow.
that was pinching his sciatic nerve. So he's getting that taken care of, thankfully. And he's going to be all right. Great set though, man. If you love Crowbar, they played everything you wanted to hear. They gave you some cool deep cuts, and I'm still like a kind of like a kid where I love to meet these guys and get shit signed.
So do I.
So I hung out after the show and met all the guys in Crowbar, and they signed my Sever the Wicked hand. Even Kirk Winstein, I was outside, just hanging, waiting for the dudes to come out. And Kirk came out with a walker going to the bus. And I was like, dude, can I stop you for 2 seconds? He's like, yeah, dude, of course, absolutely. And he signed my Crowbar, and I brought my copy of Down Nola. He signed that as well.
Nice.
And I also met Jimmy Bauer, and he signed that for me as well. That was really cool. Great to get that signed because that's one of my top favorite albums of all time. And my favorite show that I went to last year was also at the Space Ballroom in Hamden, Connecticut on St. Patrick's Day. Me and my girlfriend went out there to see Ex Order, who were touring for their latest release, Defectum Omnium, which I definitely recommend you picking up and listening to because it's a fantastic release. Yeah, great set from them. And my boys Afghan Haze opened for them, who, by the way, have a really killer album out right now called Sermons of Filth and Disgust. So I definitely recommend going to check that out. Find them on Bandcamp. You can get this on CD and vinyl. Yeah, that was a great night. Cool venue.
Nice.
First time I'd ever been there. It's kind of small spot. I think the cap is like 250, 200 to 250.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a great night, man. I met Pat O'Brien because he's the guitarist in Exorder now, and I got him to sign my copy of In Memory from Nevermore.
Nice.
And I ran into Kyle from Exorder and got him to sign my copy of the Distortion Field from Trouble.
Mm.
And he told me that there is a new Trouble album on the way. It's done. It's finished. I guess they're
Wow.
just working on, whatever label's going to release it and all that, kind of shit.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's coming out this year. I'm very much looking forward to that. And the reason why that was my favorite concert of last year is because I went there with my girlfriend and she's got anxiety really bad, and especially driving anxiety. So it's really hard to get her to drive um, decent distances. Like that venue's an hour away from me.
Yeah.
And, to get her to go any kind of distance like that is really fucking hard. So we took Uber out there. We went an hour each way, man, and took Uber out there. And she was a champion, man, and fucking sat there through that show, and it was great, man. So that's the reason, really, for me, why that was the best show for me for last year, because I'm just very proud of her and the progress she's making and stuff. And
Nice.
she really enjoyed Exorder. She likes Pantera, so she was like into what they were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was really dope.
Cool.
Favorite shows that I played last year, October 25th. I got to play the second ever heavy metal show at Greenwood Features in Bethel, Connecticut. My band Crucial Pain opened up for Malignancy and Ancient Death. That was a really cool show. That we had some kind of issues with the sound at the very beginning, but definitely check out Ancient Death. I wish I brought the CD out to show off, but they put out a really cool album last year called Ego Dissolution. They're a band from Massachusetts. Thrashy, techy death metal with lots of really cool atmospheric elements. Female bass player who does clean vocals from time to time throughout some of the songs. Very cool. Definitely check that fucking band out. They're great. On May 24th, I played a show with my boys in Last Pharaoh at PJ's in Mohegan Lake. That was a great show because it's one of those gigs where it's just two bands. We're both going to play a decent amount of time. We're both friends with each other. So we just had a blast. I love being in a band. I love going into shows like that where it's like, we know the other dudes. This is just going to be a cool hang. It doesn't even matter if nobody shows up. This is just going to be a cool hang. But a lot of people did come out, and that was a great night, man. So check out Last Pharaoh. Go look them up
Definitely
on Facebook and Insta and all that stuff. They got CDs for sale. I believe they're working on their new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my top favorite show I played last year was December 12th at Slanta in Peekskill, New York, little Irish bar. Crucial Pain with Avari and Abyss, who are a really killer Slayer tribute, and my boys in Assault. Again, this is another show where it was like everybody on the bill knows each other. We're all really tight friends. We played a bunch of shows together, and it was just a great hang. Bar was packed. The space to play was a little kind of fucking tight, but we made it work. And yeah, just an awesome night, man. I always love seeing Assault. Assault are one of my all-time top favorite local bands. They've always been. I've been seeing those guys live since 2001. I think I've seen Assault live more than any other band I've ever seen. And they've got a brand new song out. If you go into YouTube, type in Assault Beyond the Veil and prepare for some killer thrash metal, man. Really great new single that's out. It's on YouTube and Spotify. I think it might be up on iTunes. And you can find those dudes on Instagram at Assault Band. Go check them out because they fucking rock. Great thrash metal with lots of cool groove and some kind of like techie parts and some punky parts and stuff. They're a really killer band. Check out Assault.
Cool.
And that's my
Good.
top favorite shows from last year.
Awesome. So I guess I'm gonna hop in line here right now. 2025 was a decent year for me. I did like 44, 45 shows. I had to combine the Rock Fantasy 39th anniversary show, which was held over from the year before. We had issues with the venue where I was working at, and we did that at a former prison down in Warwick, New York. And we had Damage Incorporated, Into the Void, which turned into Sabbath Superstars. I think that was the beginning of it with Steven Desco. We had Final Siege. They all filled in for Show No Mercy. Final Siege got added, and Into the Void took their place. Final Siege learned a little bit of a Slayer set. We had Spellbook, Fire Haze, Sick Bay, Primeval Tribulation of the Demon of Brutality. Then in November, we came back proper, so we're all cut up now. We did the Rock Fantasy 40th anniversary, which had Sabbath Superstars, Show No Mercy, Sick Bay, New York's Jotunheim, World's Demise, Burn the Ships, and Jeremy Farfan, Smokeborne Blasphemy, who a band I really liked, who I got to see twice last year. I actually drove into the city to see. I took trips to the Maryland Death Fest for the first time ever. I never went. I went just for one day, and it was a perfect day out. It was a nice, like perfect, like 70-degree day. People talk about going there, pouring rain, so hot you can't stand it. But I went down. One of the reasons I went was Incantation were playing, Crisian were playing. They're good friends of mine, so I said let me go down and support. And then Dark Funeral were there that day. And Nile were there, and Unleashed I got to see, and Triptychon. So that was a good day. But I guess I don't know. I have such a long list. I can't go over everything, but I can breeze through some things. One of the first shows I saw in the year was Decapitated with Incantation, Darkest Hour, and Ex Mortis at the Gramercy, and I actually interviewed John. We did an interview in the back of the Gramercy. We put it up. And then on Valentine's Day, I saw thier with Aether Realm at the Broken Goblet in Bensalem, PA. I really like that venue. And it's a brewery, and it's really cool. It's not in Philly. It's a little bit north of Philly, in between Trenton and Philly, I'd say. And you can park right out front. Beautiful venue. Then I saw Swallow the Sun with Harry Carey for the Sky with Ghost Bath. That was killer. I did a weekend with Septic Flesh, double show. I saw him Saturday night with Ravenous. I saw him Sunday down in the city at the Gramercy. Then I went and saw a band I hadn't seen in years at TVI in Queens, which is the Irish band Primordial. And they hardly come around. And that was an amazing set. And they actually taped a live album that night. So there is a live recording from that night. Then I switched gears, went back to the Gramercy, saw Delane with Exandria and Edge of Paradise. And then the very next night, I was back in the New York City for Mayhem's 40th anniversary tour, which was a Decibel Music Fest with Mortis and Imperial Triumphant. Mayhem were off the hook that night. They had a video going behind them. They were playing stuff from the newest all the way to the beginning. Then I went to the Troll Fest, Corpiclani and Zephyrum, which we talked about earlier, which was one of the best times I could say I had all year. It was like being on the set of I don't know. It was like a toga party with Vikings, and it was a lot of drinking, and we had a lot of fun. On the 16th, I don't know the exact order, but I hope they are. I saw Belphegor at the Gramercy with Arcona. Arcona from Russia with Masha. I think she's one of the strongest vocalists in metal. And Arcona is coming back to the States, playing like small places like Dingbats. And they're playing the Meadows, I believe, in Brooklyn. And Jeremy's opening that show up with his band Winter Nights. So then I saw Spirit Box at the Wellmont. I did the Chaos and Carnage tour 2 days, well, a day apart. That was Dying Fetus, Cradle of Filth, Flesh God Apocalypse, Ne Obliviscaris, Undead, Vomit Forth, Corpse Pile. First night was at the old Best Buy, the Palladium, New York City. The second night that I saw was in Reading, PA. I had a day off in between. I was down there for a pinball tournament, pinball convention in Allentown. Realized, hey, Reading's like 45 minutes from here. I should go see the show again. They actually added like 6 local bands that started at noon. It was a long day, but it was fun. And I drove in thunderstorms all the way home. It was the most heaviest rain I've probably ever driven in my life. And it rained all the way home that night. Then I saw another band at TVI in Queens. It was their first ever New York City appearance. And the band formed in 1988. It was Tormentor, which is Attila Caesar's black metal outfit. And they were insane. It was a great show. I saw the Enslaved show at the Gramercy. Then I was off to Maryland Death Fest. Didn't do much over the summer. It was real quiet. I sponsored the 10 days at the Orange County Fair. It was a Rock Fantasy 40th anniversary concert series. And they were all tribute bands, pretty much. Eyes of the Nile and a bunch of different bands that played there over the summer. So I was there like 10 nights in a row. I did go out and see Pantera Amon Amarth at SPAC with that was, I got out to see that. I think that was in late September. Then I drove to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the Slayer, the only Slayer headline show of the year with Knock Loose, Suicidal, Power Trip, Cavalier, and Exodus. And then I saw Judas Priest and COC at SPAC. Then it kind of slowed down a little bit. I guess I'm giving you a whole list. I guess I hope I don't bore anybody. I saw one of my favorite bands. I never used to like them back in the day, and then I absolutely fell in love with them guys. Sonata Arctica came back to the States, so I saw them at the Gramercy with Power Glove. Then I saw Mudvayne Static X at Wellmont. My new metal side came out. I saw Trivium and Ginger and Harriet at the Wellmont. Then I saw Ne Obliviscaris. They're the winner this year. I saw them 3 times, the Australian band. And he actually has, Ravenous has a banner hanging up behind him. So I saw them at Rivers of Nile. And there was another opening band that I didn't write down. Then I saw the Zach Sabbath show. I saw Blood Feast at the Zone, which was WXAX night. I saw Blind Guardian with Encephirum and Seven Kingdoms at Irving Plaza. And Blind Guardian, I had never really gotten into too much. I don't know why. I've never really owned their music. I never seen them live. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are great. They were so fucking good that night, out of the power metal realm. And then I saw Crisian at Dingbats. We talked about that. I saw Spiritbacks again at Oakdale. I saw Omnium Gatherum and Atherrealm. These were both the final nights of the tour, back-and-back Sundays with Hinyana at the Gramercy. Then I rounded out the show with Castrator, Robin Mason's death metal, all-female death metal band. They were killer, and Ed was there with me, with D Solus, Smokeborne Blasphemy, who fogged up that fucking place. The pictures we got with Munzie, we were like looking like we were in the London fog. And then I got invited by Ken Pierce from Piercing Metal, New York City, to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So I went on the orchestra. I went at a matinee. We walked in not knowing where our seats were. We were front row center.
Nice.
It hurt my neck because the stage was like, we were this close. You had to look up to everything. But that was a surprise, and that ended up my year. So I didn't go about all the tribute bands, but I've seen a bunch of other shows.
How is Static X with the kid from Dope singing for him?
They're great.
I gotta check them out.
I mean, it's like an Android Static X. I mean, they sound great.
Yeah.
The crowd loves it. And I mean, I don't know. It's keeping their music alive to another generation of kids, I guess.
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
you
love
like
that.
Static X, I think you'd enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of weird. My wife's a big Wayne Static fan, and she
Me too.
if she would want to go see it, but
Yeah,
seem to be doing fine for themselves.
good.
Anyhow, let's go over to Tony Dio and wrap it up with Ed Farsley. And
Go on and go, Ed. I'll close it out.
You
I
sure?
got kind of long list. Yeah, I got
Ed's
a
got a
long
long
list.
list. You think Ed's going to festivals all around the world?
That's it. I don't have that whole lot of shows I went to last year because of my work schedule. I'm
Yeah.
usually working every night, which, by the way, will change this year. I didn't tell you, Steve. My hours are changing at work. I'm now going to be working 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. instead of 9 p.m. So I'm going to be going to a lot more shows next year. A lot
Oh,
more.
you
shows.
will. Okay. Go.
Oh, I'm definitely. Yeah, I'll be able to go to shows pretty much any night of the week now. So I
What
can go
time do you go to
all.
work?
What that?
What time do you go in?
I'm going in at 3 in the morning now.
Oh,
I can go a show in the city, take the train home, get off the train, and go right to work. So I'll be all set.
they're a
There you go.
fucking trooper. Most people won't do shit like that. They're like, I go, guys.
Hey,
I
man,
have the next
that
day off.
rules.
I'm going to
Oh,
it.
hell
That
yeah.
rules, man.
I can't wait. Man.
He'll
All
be
right.
all
Go to the
amped. He'll be
show
all
and
amped
then
up,
to
ready to
work.
work.
Yep, exactly. I just won't drink that night. That's fine. That's
There
all
was
right.
a
That's
couple that used to come to all the shows at Quinn's when we were doing it, and his name's Ron. And him and his girlfriend, they would literally come to the show and go right to work. Well, we're going to work at midnight. We came to the show first.
Oh yeah, of course. Hey, you got to go to work, but you want to go to shows, so you got to
Yeah.
have fun balance. So this year is going to be good for me. So yeah, so last year, I didn't really go to a lot of shows, but I do have 3 big festivals, so I saw a lot of bands last year.
That's
I'm not
good.
all, of course, but starting off the year, January 25th through February 1st, the 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise.
You did it. That's right.
I did it last year. I wish I was doing it again this year, but I don't have that kind of money every year. But it is one of the best times of my life. I've done 3 cruises, 3 of the best weeks of my life, hands down. It's an experience that needs to be experienced by every real metalhead.
Yeah.
You're living with all the bands, with all the fans, and it's just an absolutely incredible experience. Let's see. On the cruise I went to, there were 61 bands. Each band plays 2 sets on 4 different stages throughout basically 24/7. You got shows all day, all night, pretty much, and it's constant. So it's 3.5 days of constant metal shows and great eating and sitting on the deck, and it's just an experience. So, like I said, 61 bands. The top bands I saw, my favorites: Dirk Snyder, Onslaught, Trouble, Tankard, Warfield, Destinity, Candlemass, Tenebrarum, Pessimist, Decapitated, Incantation, Suffocation, Septic Flesh, Striker, Storm Ruler, Total Death, Chrysian, Symphony X, Sonata Arcarum, Abysmal Dawn. And there were many more bands, but those are just my top bands I saw. And it's just, like I said, it's an experience that must be done by everybody. Save your money and go. It's worth it. Next show I saw was March 7th, my birthday weekend. Got to see Coroner and Deceased in Meadows. I love Deceased.
Yeah.
Coroner, all right. I love old Coroner. I don't really like the later Coroner
You
stuff.
don't like the new album? I think the new album's amazing.
The new album, what I've heard of it is all right, but like I love
We
the
don't
first.
have it yet.
I don't like the last 2 Coroner albums really. What they did back in the
I like
day.
the new one a lot. Ralph had it as #1 this year too.
I know he did.
Yeah.
Next one I went to was another big fest. The Hell's Heroes Fest, which is basically my favorite metal fest to go to. Unfortunately, I can't do it again this year because I'm going to MDF. I can't do them all. But Hell's Heroes is just an amazingly put together fest with phenomenal fucking bands. It's bands right up my alley: thrash metal, power metal, heavy metal, death metal. It's great. That was March 19th to the 22nd in Texas. I said 4 incredible bands. The highlights of each day for me: Hellstar, Satan, Dark Meditation, Liege Lord, Spitter, and Riot 4. That was on the pre-fest day. Then we get Savage Master, Castle Rat, Attacker, DRI, Bewitcher, Hyrax, Omen, Raven, and Abath. That was on the second day.
Yep.
Third day was Solicitor, Nasty Savage, Enforcer, Gamacide, Omen, Sadistic Intent, Cavalera doing the Schizophrenia album, and Crimson Glory. And on the final day, we got Night Cobra, Hell Ripper from Scotland, Overdose, Primordial, S.A. Slayer doing a reunion, which is fucking amazing sounding, with James McMaster singing. Wow, they sounded good. Samael and Saxon doing an all-time fucking greatest hit set that I literally stood there in the second row just watching in awe.
Nice.
Fantastic. One of the best live experiences I've ever had. Just amazing. Then we got, let's see. Next show I went to was April 5th at a Dingbats. Attacker, Bastard Skull, and Electrocutioner. And a couple days, well, actually 2 months later, August 8th, I went to a show in the city. Some New York City rock bands I'm old friends with, Honor Among Thieves and The Nude at Mercury Lounge. August 29th, 30th, and 31st, the best metal fest of all time, Rage of Armageddon.
Uh-oh.
My festival.
You know the guy that runs that, don't you?
What's that?
I think you know the guy that runs that, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty friendly. I'm pretty good terms with him. I'm not going to mention all the bands, but 3 days, Hellstar, Bitch, Insanity, Repulsion, Deceased, Aggression, Lurking Terror, Jag Panzer, Liege Lord, Ruthless, Destructor, Blood Feast, Overlord, and a whole lot more. And I got another Rage of Armageddon Fest coming up this year in September. It's going to blow this one away. It's going to be incredible.
I've been seeing the ads already.
Yeah, 3 days, 30 bands. It's going to be outstanding. Let's see. Then I took a month or so off to recover from my fest. October 18th, I went to Cannibal Corpse and Municipal Waste at Starland. I saw you there, Steve. October 25th.
I wasn't at that one.
Was that?
I wasn't at the Cannibal Corpse one.
You weren't at that one? I thought you were at that one.
No. You must have saw Steve Levin,
His
maybe.
doppelganger.
Okay.
Yeah, that one
I
I did make it to. I did not.
Okay. I thought I saw you there. I was drinking that night, so.
Yeah.
Yep. October 25th, I went to a Pink Floyd tribute in the town next door to me in Dunellen. Had some magic mushroom edibles. I bought at a local store here that night. Very good time. November 1st, I know you were at this show, Steve, the Rock Fantasy 40th anniversary.
I was there.
show.
I know the guy that runs that.
That was a great show. That was a really great show.
I was really
Thank you,
disappointed with the sound system that night. It was still
The sound was rough. The sound was rough.
The sound was tough. And now I got my old sound guy back, so it should be good if we can keep this place together for the 41st. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now you got it together. But yeah, Sick Bay, Jotunheim, Show No Mercy, Sabbath Superstars. Great fucking show. Great show.
Joe
then
Mercy set the fire alarms off.
Yes, that was
Fog
fun.
machines. Yeah.
And rounded out the year with the show you mentioned, December 17th at Woodshop, The Castrator, Desolus, and Smoke Barn. What is it? Smoke Burn Blasphemy. They were a good band. You're right.
That's
And-
Jeremy, Jeremy Farfan from Winter Nights.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's his other band. And, he's had a bunch of bands, but boy, the Fog Machines, what he's got, that place was all fogged up. The pictures we took with Munzie, I'm like, man, the pictures, it looked like we were standing in a freaking cloud.
Oh, man.
No doubt, yeah, Castrator, they're nasty.
Oh, Castrator was great.
My first
Castrator.
time, and you got them coming to your fest, but it's the first
Oh,
time
yeah.
I saw them live. And I've seen the girl that sings for them with her other band.
Oh, really? Yeah. I never saw her other band. I just seen her with Castrator. But yeah,
She
I booked the
played the
first.
Quins once, yeah.
I can't wait to have them. They're a fucking great band. They just get better and better. It's so brutal.
Yeah,
That was my year. It was definitely a good year.
it
Looking
was,
forward
right?
to this year.
And yeah, hopefully I'll see you up here. I think you're planning on coming up in February.
I'm definitely coming up.
for the
I have that weekend off. I will be up there.
Dangerous Metal Meeting with Witches Dance, Spellbook, Electrocutioner, and Scarlet King. Yeah,
I was
But
just talking
flyers,
about.
we have a show this week, and I'm not financing it, or I would have postponed it because it's going to be 10 degrees out with a blizzard coming the next day. I'm like, you guys really want to do the show still? But they're still doing it. So yeah, if you're in the area, if anybody's watching, if you want to come out, it's Wicked Garden SDP tribute with Mama Doom, Snow White, and Obsidian is the opening band. So it's a mix match of different bands, but it's the third show that I've done at the Zone, and I got Jimmy from Thunder Sound doing sound. We're going to try to keep the scene alive here in Middletown while we can.
Cool. That's a cool club.
It is, yeah. It's just, it needs a little love and care sometimes.
Yep.
Doug Tony Dio, what you got to say?
Well, I saw quite a few shows.
How
14
many
to
did you go
15,
to? As
like
many as me?
probably like 15 or so, 14, 15 of the
That's
like
it. I thought
main
you were the showing
major
tonight.
major bands. But I went to a lot of stuff with, local and regional
Yeah, yeah,
acts
yeah,
too,
yeah.
stuff like that. But as far as like big tours, in April, I went to Richmond, Virginia. I saw the Municipal Waste 20th anniversary concert. They've been around 20 years, and they played in their hometown of Richmond, and they played the biggest venue there. It's the National, which is a good, huge, old theater that's been converted into a rock club. So it had to be pretty cool for those guys to think, they started out playing somebody's backyard. 20 years later, they're playing the biggest venue in town. So that's pretty cool. And they had Toxic Holocaust with them, and Midnight and Enforced on
Oh,
that
what a
show.
good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was killer.
Oh,
Um, and did a little road trip in first weekend in May. I usually go to the M3 Fest, but I didn't go this year, and I was going to get rained out anyway. So I saw that Friday night. I saw LA Guns play at a theater. It was actually the first time I've seen them in a theater, not like a club, a
Yeah.
seated theater. That was a little odd for LA Guns. I was thinking
Yeah.
they're up there rocking, and you got the crowds all kind of just sitting there. I was like, man, they probably look out there and go, man, I remember when fights were breaking out and stuff, back in the day. And now everybody's old. Everybody's old and sitting down now. But it was a good show still. And I drove up to DC the next day to the nice venue they've got down in the harbor there, and saw Devo. I'm a big Devo fan.
Are
Have
you?
been since I was a kid. Yeah, and I've seen them a couple times, but yeah, this was really good show. Great visuals and stuff. And a friend of mine from here in this area is out on the road with them. He's kind of like their personal assistant and stuff. So he got us backstage passes and stuff. We went back. I got to meet a couple of the guys in the band, get some stuff autographed, and actually even got a piece of one of the yellow costumes that they wear, because they tear them off during the show, and they've got the black outfits with the energy domes they put on later on from that. Um, Next up, I saw back in Raleigh, in May, I saw Early Moods with Tribulation,
Oh yeah.
and
Tribulation.
great show. Yeah, I didn't know much about Tribulation. Really enjoyed their set. Very much like
Oh
a
really?
Paradise
Yeah. I've been
Lost
into them
kind of
for
like.
years. I got
Yeah,
some
super
box
cool
sets and
band.
stuff and everything with them.
Early Moods, great doom band. If you haven't seen these kids yet, they're young guys from California playing just old school, just doom. I mean, it's like, if you like stuff like Trouble and Candlemass and stuff, you'll love these guys. Um, in June, I saw at the same venue. We got a metal venue in Raleigh now called Chapel of Bones, and it's a full on
Cool.
metal club, and that's where I saw Early Mood and Tribulation. I saw that venue in June. I saw Void with Demiser. Void out of Louisiana, great, just technical thrash band with Demiser. Really good show. Had a couple of good local bands, Deceptor and Resurrector opened up. Really fun show. In June, over in Raleigh at the Poorhouse, I saw Savage Master with the band Night, and that was really cool. I love Savage Master, one of my favorite newer bands, even though they've been around for a decade now. And Night was really cool. Kind of like, if you like stuff like Tribulation, you'll like Night. It's just that, it's got a rock and roll type thing going, mixed with like doom and death metal and all. It's really cool. June 29th, back to that theater that I saw LA Guns in Virginia. That's the Beacon Theater in Hopewell, Virginia. I saw Zebra, and that was a great show. Big fan of those guys. Just, kind of proggy, hard rock band. Been around forever. I think this is their 50th anniversary tour that they were doing that when I saw them. Um, back to the metal venue in Raleigh, the Chapel of Bones. I saw Bat. They played on a festival that was there with it was actually called Slut Fest. And Bat was one of the headlining bands on that, with a whole lot of other bands that were on that. September 9th, I'm back at that theater in Hopewell, Virginia again. One of my favorite shows of the year. Michael Schenker Group with Jared James Nichols opening. Michael Schenker did all UFO material. It was My Years in UFO tour.
Okay.
Amazing show. Front row seats. Just couldn't ask for a better show. I mean, I've seen Michael many times since the 90s, and I've seen him at his worst, and I'm glad to see that this guy's back and he's firing on all cylinders again. He looks so happy to be up there doing what he's doing. And just, I love UFOs. So that was just such a great show to see.
Jared James Nichols is a nasty
And
blues guitarist.
Jared is amazing. Yeah, Jared James Nichols, he's like, he's one of the new guitar heroes out there, man. This dude is amazing. 3-piece, just 70s style hard rock,
No
little
doubt.
blues influence, just good stuff. September 11th, I actually went and saw the Pantera tour. It was a kind of like last minute. Somebody gave me a ticket and I went. I had no plans of going. I was like, that's just too expensive. I saw the Real Deal many times.
Yeah.
Ticket came available. I went. I'm glad. I had a good time. It was, hung out with a lot of friends. It is a nice tribute to the brothers. I mean, I'll say that. It's much different, but a nice tribute.
It is. Jack Wild played tribute to another person. We were talking about him playing tribute to Ozzy. Now he's paying the dime.
Yeah. A few days later, I went to Silver Springs, Maryland, to the Fillmore and saw the Bruce Dickinson tour. Bruce is out in support of the Mandrake Project, and he had an incredible band with him, and they just played stuff from the Mandrake Project and Bruce's solo records. And we got one Iron Maiden song that night. It was Flash of the Blade.
Oh, really?
Just a good deep cut to pull out for the show. And just amazing show, amazing band. Bruce was just on. He was having such a good time. Said they kept cussing the guy out they kept cussing whoever was in control of the air conditioner because he said he was fucking freezing up there. But a few days after that, I went back to Richmond, Virginia, and saw Dark Angel, Sacred Reich, Hyrax, and Void.
Wow.
And that was an amazing, just thrash show. First time seeing Hyrax, first time meeting Caton, been, friends with him on social media for years, talked back and forth, got to meet the man in person. Great show, great seeing the whole show. The day after that, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and saw Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, and COC, and that was a great show.
Yeah.
All the bands were great for that. It was one of those shows where I think everybody was at. It was one of these shows that didn't sell that well originally, but it was on a Saturday and the weather was really nice, so people just came out, and the place filled up. And everybody I could think of when I looked on Facebook was there. But it's like my buddy that I went to the show with. He says, usually when we go to a show, we hang out and out in the pavilion areas, and you hang out and see people. He goes, this was a show where you wanted to see all three bands. Usually when when I go see like Maiden or something, they'll have some band I don't care about opening, and you just hang out until Maiden comes on. But this is one of those shows that you wanted to see all three bands that night. So didn't get to see a lot of people that, oh man, I was there. I hate I missed you, And one of the last shows I went to this year was Municipal Waste with Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
And what else? It was who else was on that bill? It was Fulci and and someone else. Yeah. Good show, man. All the bands were killer. A fun show to go to.
Nice.
Yep.
So hey Tony, you mentioned Devo before. Do you know Malcolm Tent?
Yes. Malcolm was there. He was backstage with us after the show because he knows Michael as well. My friend Michael Pilmer, who works for Devo.
Right.
Yes,
yeah. Good
so
dude.
Malcolm.
He used to own a record store here in Connecticut called Trash American Style.
Oh, I
Right,
remember
right.
that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was funny because I had seen him play with Anti like a
Yep.
year ago because he's the bass player in Anti now, and
Yep.
we're standing there waiting to go backstage, and like, I know you from somewhere, you know. It's like, oh, wait a minute. And he said he played with Anderson. I said, oh yeah, I saw you, in Raleigh last year or whatever. He and his girlfriend were there. So yeah, it was cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
super cool.
Hmm.
That guy owned a record store in Danbury.
I think it was in Danbury. Yeah, Trash American Style.
I bought a Kiss Valley pinball machine from him years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in Danbury. Yep. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. He comes up. He lives in North Carolina now. He
Hmm.
comes up like
Okay.
twice a year to do a vinyl expo in Danbury.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's the same guy. It was
Yep.
kind of a punk rock store, if I don't
Yeah. Yeah,
correctly.
Yeah,
that's his thing is more punk rock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's the bass player in the Anti now.
Right.
So thanks to everybody for their time. And if you're watching the show, please mention some of the shows that you enjoyed in 2025. We got a ton of shows coming up. I don't know if I can do as many as last year. I'm going to try. My first national tour is going to be February 5th with Opeth and Catatonia. The next night, I'm planning on seeing Ad Infinitum at Dingbats. And I mean, it just keeps coming. Arcona's coming around, Belphegor, Incantation, and Hate. I was talking about some of the stuff, Catatonia and Rivers of Nile are on the road, and you got the Testament, Destruction, and Overkill tour coming around. You got Creator and Carcass. You got stuff every day. There's so much coming around. So we look forward to 2026, and hopefully
Hey, Steve,
has a
I'll go ahead and while we're here, I'll plug John from Incantation, who
Oh yeah.
joins us here sometimes. John's he's got a festival coming here in it's a 1 day
Yeah.
festival in North Carolina in Raleigh, and it's going to be
Yeah.
on February 14th at the bar that I mentioned earlier, the Metal Bar, Chapel of Bones. So it's February 14th, and that is the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre Fest. And
Yeah.
this is the Chainsaw Massacre Party, he's calling this, and since it's a
Yeah.
1 day festival. And it's going to be Macabre, Incantation. I'm looking. He's got Narcotic Wasteland and All Hell, and it's a few other bands will be added to that. But that's going to be February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So
Yeah.
if you're listening, if you're watching this, and you're in North Carolina and you want to bring your Valentine out to a good heavy metal show, that's where
Yeah.
you need to be.
I think that must be right before he kicks off the tour.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is, right?
Yep.
Ed,
Yep.
you're going to that show at the Monarch, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you're not a big black metal guy, but it's a couple.
No, I want to see John. Absolutely.
I mean, Hate's
I love Incantation.
good, and fucking
Yep.
Belphegor is always nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess that kind of wraps us up tonight. And hey, my internet worked the whole show.
Hey.
It's great.
And it's what? I guess it warmed up out. It's not -4 like it was last night. I think it's like 30 degrees out now. Actually,
Yeah, everybody's getting ready for the ice storm coming here.
Oh, down by you, man. It's gonna be nasty,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, as we tape
Mhm.
this, they're expecting this crazy storm in the United States coming up and going through like areas. They said that you're gonna be without people in the south and different areas are gonna be without power for days.
Yep.
And up here, they said now
Fingers crossed, not
we
gonna
can
happen.
get over a foot of snow on Sunday. Now they're saying.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
right.
another record store weekend, which is not good for our business, James. I had a
No, it's
bad
not.
weekend last weekend. They're gonna buy that Megadeth record on Amazon and have it shipped instead of come see us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what happens. Anyhow, so want to thank everybody for their time tonight. Ravenous, Tony Dio, Ed, James, and myself, and we'll see you next time on the Rock Fantasy YouTube channel.
Bye-bye.